Now with an urgent alert in the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. In Florida, some electric vehicles have been bursting into flames. Our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, has more on some of the hurricane-damaged vehicles. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Robin. So this is a typical lot where they'd store cars that have been totaled by flood damage. You can see how closely parked all those vehicles are. And this is a field where they have to store EVs so they don't burst into flames and burn anything else down. And right now in Florida, officials are sounding the alarm and they're asking the federal government for guidance. In Hurricane Ian's aftermath, electric vehicles bursting into flames spontaneously after being damaged in floodwaters. Car batteries catching fire, prompting an urgent new warning from the state. Is the theory that when salt water interacts with these EV batteries, they turn into something of a time bomb?
Well, we just can assume that that's contributing to it because all these are storm-damaged vehicles that were flooded. It's a real concern among firefighters. Those fires proving very difficult to put out.
So how much water would you put on a typical gas-powered car?
Sometimes we just take a tank of water on the engine, around 750 to 1,000 gallons.
How much on something
These,
like this?
we're doing 8,000 plus gallons of water, just constant flow, trying to cool them down and stop the batteries.
So like 10 to 12 times the amount of water is required to put a car out like this?
Easily.
An EV?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And they can reignite. Tim Baker towed this Tesla to his lot after firefighters put it out.
I went back in my office, got a drink, sat down on the couch, and one of my employees yelled, "Hey, there's a fire."
Baker had to push the car out into the street.
Another eventful day.
And you can see the car still on skids, pumping smoke, sputtering into flames. They had to plunk it in the drainage ditch.
There are an increasing number of tow truck drivers and companies who are just refusing to tow these vehicles.
Yeah, pretty much so. I mean, they're
that?
very dangerous cars to tow. They have a potential to catch fire at pretty much any time.
And storing flooded EVs is increasingly a problem.
This field has been specifically designated for electric vehicles that have been flooded out by Hurricane Ian. Every single one of them has to be spaced 50 feet apart in case they spontaneously burst into flames. The traditional cars in this lot parked on the other side, they can be parked close together.
Bobby Schneider, who trains first responders on handling EV fires, says the potential dangers remain.
That's part of our concern, is that when they come into areas that have no electricity and they restore power to the grid, what about the vehicles that are sitting in garages or parking garages that were plugged in, charging before the storm surge happened?
And now Florida State Fire Marshal calling on federal officials for action. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration responding in a letter acknowledging the problem, writing, "Lithium-ion vehicle battery fires have been observed both rapidly igniting and igniting several weeks after battery damage occurred." That state fire marshal now calling on EV companies to pitch in.
We need you to lean forward, partner with us, and understand how we can protect our first responders, how we can save people's homes from burning down.
So if folks at home have cars that have been damaged in floodwaters, especially salt waters, you're going to want to make sure that the car is unplugged. You might want to alert authorities so they can keep it 50 feet away from anything else. And guys, it is important to note that every expert we spoke to said that these vehicles are not inherently more dangerous than traditional gas-powered cars. They just have to be handled differently, and first responders will have to be trained across the country in how to better deal with them and get them safely to a recycling facility. Guys,
got to keep that in mind. You're right about that. Thank you.